Hey guys, it's me, Dax Moy from Fit System Training, Dax Moy Academy, and a million other different places. I'm here today just with a very short message to answer a few questions I've been getting about the new BodyMAP program. What it is, what it's, who it's designed for, what you can expect out of attending it, and I guess most importantly, how it's different to the other shall we say, assessment programs that are already in existence. Okay, so it's not my aim in this video to kind of put down anybody else's programs. There's some fantastic assessment programs out there right now, and all things are definitely moving the industry in the right direction. I believe that if you're not assessing, you're guessing, and so anything in that moves us in the direction of actually improving our assessment skills is a big thumbs up in my eyes. Okay, but here's the thing. I've been teaching the kinetic chain assessment process for nearly 10 years now. It's been quite some time. And during that time, we've taken literally thousands of trainers through it who've been able to go on to make huge impacts on the lives of their clients, just because they've been able to work in a way that removes all guesswork from their training. Okay, the evolution of the BodyMAP program then is I would say it's like kinetic chain assessment on steroids, right? It's a hugely different program with a hugely different emphasis and focus. Same kind of concept. If you're not assessing, you're guessing. So it's definitely an assessment protocol, but where this one really differs is that we're not getting caught up in what I term to be the downstream stuff. Okay, so what do I mean by downstream? So when we experience a client with pain, when we experience a client with weakness, when we experience a client with what we would term postural dysfunction, so like kind of kyphosis, rounded shoulders, short and tight, long and weak, and all that kind of stuff, we have a tendency as a profession to become hypnotized by those issues. So if we find something short, we want to stretch it. If we find something long, we want to strengthen it and kind of bring it into a shortened position. If we find someone in kyphosis, we want to pull them back into thoracic extension, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that generally tends to be the approach of most fit pros. So we spend a lot of our time downstream. What the BodyMAP program does is it takes us all the way up to the source of the river. Okay, and in this case, the source of the river is not only the central nervous system, which the kinetic chain assessment really addressed very well, but moves further into the central nervous system, not only into the brain. Okay, so during this program there's a lot of brain science where we actually understand the workings of the brain and how the brain kind of creates movement and also kind of dysfunctional movement. But we go a lot further than that as well. We actually start to run into the sensory systems, which in the terminology that we're using during this program helps you to understand the map. So helps your brain to create a map of where your body is, what needs to happen in order for it to feel safe. Okay, now safety from the brain's perspective is the ability to predict the immediate future. In other words, I can walk and I'm not going to fall down, or I'm not going to my surroundings aren't going to topple me. So if we are able to predict our future, we feel safe. And also the ability to predict or create an appropriate response to the current environment. Okay, so that is what safety looks like to the brain. And so how do we know all of that stuff? We go even further upstream from the brain in many respects. We go upstream into the sensory organs that feed the brain the information. Okay, so we're talking about kind of any threats to respiration, which in itself is a delivery organ, but it's a sensory organ in its own right. We look at the visual system, we look at the vestibular system, we look at the proprioceptive system, we look at the spatial awareness system. Okay, so every single thing that feeds data into the brain, so that the brain says, here's where I am, here's where I'm moving, here's what I'm doing, here's why I'm doing it, here's my ability to predict my safety, and here's my ability to create an appropriate response. All of those things are being taken care of all the way upstream, okay, at the sensory level. This, as far as I'm aware, is the only program that is basically dealing with the senses in this way. Okay, and so what you'll find is that as you work through the BodyMAP protocols, you are getting a much more effective and efficient picture of why movement dysfunction is occurring, why pain is occurring, why weakness is occurring, why your client's range of motion is shutting down, etc. You're going to get a much better picture. Not only are you going to get a better picture, but as a result of doing the assessments, as a result of doing the drills, very often you're going to improve the function there and then. So we're not talking about weeks and months of stretching in order to gain a couple of inches on your adductors, for example, or to get a better forward reach. We're talking about a couple of seconds of doing some things that may actually seem really, really weird, like kind of drills with your eyes, or kind of drills that challenge your balance, or things that kind of cause you to breathe in a slightly different way. They all kind of seem weird. Like, how could these things possibly have an impact upon those things, right? So how could these senses, how could breathing this way, or wiggling your eyes about a bit, or changing the position that you're standing in, how could they have an impact upon how my body is moving, how it's able to produce force, how much stronger I am, how much higher I can jump, how much faster I can run? Okay, how can these things do that? Well, they seem disparate, they seem disconnected at first. They don't seem to be the same issue, and yet they really are, because as you'll find out when you come to the BodyMAP program, if your brain doesn't have that picture, it takes back function. Okay, as it tries to take back function, if you're still doing nothing to develop the picture, it decides to give you pain as a little reminder. Okay, and I'll talk about that in a later video about the importance of pain, and actually how pain is your servant. And also why most pain, apart from traumatic pain, as in you've been run over by a car, but why most pain can actually be taken care of very, very quickly, and again, very often in seconds and minutes, as opposed to in kind of weeks and months, the way most body work and physiotherapy and most of the other work that we as trainers and coaches generally tend to engage in. Okay, so who's the program for? The program is for anyone who knows that they can get much better results than they're currently getting, and who seems to see the same things turn up again and again and again and block their clients' progress. It's for people that are genuinely interested in taking a much more, if you will, a cerebral approach to your training, to your therapy, to your conditioning, than simply, you know, kind of just poke this and rub this and prod this and stretch this and lift that heavier or jump. You know, if all you're interested in is the like no-brainer approach, this won't be a program for you. But if you're at that point where you're ready to actually understand how the body really works from a neurological and sensory perspective, then this will be the program for you. What can you expect from it? You can expect pain reduction, like immense pain reduction, very, very quickly. You can expect increases in range of motion very, very quickly. You can expect increases in strength very, very quickly. And when I say very quickly, I mean as in do this drill, suddenly become stronger, more flexible, jump higher, reduce your pain quite dramatically. You can and will see differences in seconds. Okay, so like all of my programs, every single program that I run, I've created this kind of no-brainer guarantee for you, and it's a real genuine offer. Basically, turn up for the first half of the first day, so attend the first lectures, which is full of real juicy stuff, I mean, brain science stuff that no one is talking about. Turn up for the first day, or half of the first day. If you come to me at lunchtime and you say, "Hey Dax, that was absolutely worthless to me, I got nothing out of it, didn't like it, can't see the point of it," then I promise you, across the course of that lunch break, I will reimburse you and put the money back into your PayPal account there and then. Okay, I don't want anybody attending the programs that hasn't gotten anything out of them. But to be honest, I am absolutely certain that you are going to be blown away when you attend. That things are going to change for you and for your clientele very, very quickly, and this will not only have an impact upon the results that you're getting, but you know, it's always been my intention that the programs also generate big returns on investment for you, because clients are willing to pay you a lot more than your competitors because you're so much better than they are. Okay, so look, I can see I've actually gone on for about 9 minutes now. It's a bit longer message than I intended, but there's kind of a lot to say. I've really just skimmed the surface. But if you are serious about getting amazing results for your clients, if you're serious about learning a very much more cerebral and educated process to getting those results, rather than just kind of eat less, move more, rub harder, kind of create more friction, whatever it is, if you're interested in actually learning how the brain works to create the movements that you yourself are working really, really hard to either create or reassert with your clients, then this will definitely be the program for you. I really do hope that this has explained what you need. You know, I really do hope that it's explained what you feel that you need to know in order to make an informed decision about attending, and I really, really hope to see you there. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.